I really did have kind of an aha moment. In a million years, I never, ever thought I would become a rabbi. I grew up in Chicago in a home that had a very strong sense of Jewish identity. It was a kosher home because both my parents grew up that way. We always had Friday night dinner together, but we weren't big synagogue goers. We belonged to a Reconstructionist and then a Reform synagogue. So we were never Orthodox. We were always liberal in our approach. So while being proud as a Jew, I never really thought in a million years I would become a rabbi. And senior year in college, I had 3 applications on my desk. One was to go on for an MFA at the Iowa's Writers' Workshop. The other was for the Peace Corps. And the third was to go on and do a PhD in philosophy, which was my undergraduate degree. So of course I did none of the 3. I moved to Cambridge and wrote the great American novel, which thank God never got published because it was so awful. And it was really during that year when I was living in Cambridge that I read the Bible for the first time in its entirety. I experimented with different kinds of congregations in the Boston area, from Orthodoxy to to secular humanist, to try to figure out which was the best fit. I met with rabbis, but probably more important than all of that was that 2 very close friends of mine were living in Cambridge at the same time. One who was Hindu, who had just begun his PhD program at Harvard, and the other who was a Jesuit priest, or was training to become a Jesuit priest. He's in Rome now, who was studying at the Weston School of Theology. So it sounds like a joke, but at night, the 3 of us would get together, a Hindu, a Catholic, and a Jew, sip single malt scotch and talk about theology and metaphysics till 3 in the morning. And it was really during those conversations, forget about the Jewish stuff, that I really realized how much I enjoyed doing this on a very deep level, more than anything else. And I didn't think about the real world life of a congregational rabbi. I didn't really think about the practical ramifications of the decision. But it was really when my priest friend said to me, "Niles, have you ever considered being a rabbi?" that I said, "Well, no." And I'd say 2 weeks later, I was already looking at applications for rabbinical schools. So it kind of came out of nowhere and bit me on the butt. But I never really expected it or wanted it because I didn't think I was worthy of it. Of course, now, all these years later, I realize it's not about worth. We're all flawed and imperfect. It's about commitment and devotion. And that's what I needed to have someone help me reveal something that was within myself that I wasn't aware of. The hardest part about being a rabbi is dealing with Jews all the time. But I had a professor, we're a very, the Bible calls us a stiff-necked people. Jewish Americans are very smart, very talented, very successful in the main. We have a lot of impact, disproportionate to our size. And that's a good thing. I'm proud of that. But we can also be a little pushy. We can also be very demanding, especially here in New York. I'm a Midwesterner, after all. Some of those stereotypes do have some truth to them. But as a professor said to me, "Niles," because I was having some of these issues even in graduate school, he said to me, "Niles, becoming a rabbi doesn't mean you have to love I'm sorry, I take that back. He said to me, becoming a rabbi doesn't mean you have to like the Jewish people. It just means you have to love them." And I've never forgotten that teaching either. It's like family. Do I like my brother or sister every day of the week? No. But do I love them in a fundamental way all the time? Well, I guess I do. And so I would say that's one of the challenges. The Jewish people are a very tough people. Sometimes it feels like herding cats, trying to be a rabbi and get my people as excited about their tradition as I am excited about it, and inspired by it and transformed by it. But when I return to that teaching and say, it's not about always liking them, but it's about loving them, it helps me get through those tough moments. Of course, I have many other moments where I'm filled with warmth and love for the people I serve. But sometimes that can be a challenge.